Ya, bisa. Ya, silakan, Prof.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ohayo gozaimasu. Okay, students. Today is another series of lecture. And as you know, the topic given to me is coordination compound as anti-cancer agent. Okay. So the first thing I want to mention to you that you should know what is your current health status. Meaning, your health status means look at your health record, your health profile. So when you go and see the doctors, they will do normally blood tests. From the blood test, you will know all the cholesterol levels, sugar levels, and check your organs, everything. So at least you have to do it once every year. It's very important to have that kind of routine checkup just to maintain your good health condition. Okay, next slide. We will discuss as we go on. Next slide. So before, okay. Okay. So the topic is interesting topic, coordination compound as anti-cancer agents. So these topics comprising two different disciplines. One is coordination chemistry, which is chemistry, and the other part is anti-cancer drugs. Okay, so it's two different fields. So for chemistry, there's no problem. You learn about chemistry, you learn about element in the past lecture, and as an anti-cancer drugs, it is a very different field. It's about disease, it's about sickness, it's about pharmaceuticals, it's about medical, it is biology, blah, 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 blah. So if you don't plan properly to learn or to teach, then it becomes very boring because it's two different disciplines. But as a chemist is a central part of science. Chemists can work with anybody, with the physicists, with the engineers, with the material science, with the pharmacy, and with the doctors, okay? So what I intend to do today is to have a discussion. First, we will see about human body. Because when you talk about sickness, you talk about disease, you talk about drugs, it is applied to human body, it is applied to our health system. Okay, and as a chemist, we want to see the elements in the body. Okay, and then it is about the cell. So we will discuss on this topic. All right, next slide. As you all know, the earth, you see the earth, the bumi, comprising of many, many elements. From the history point of view, there were 4 elements at the initial stage, which is water, fire, and then people study about the rock, about the earth, as mentioned in Al-Quran. And now we discovered so many elements from the earth and the element present in the form of minerals, in the form of rocks, okay? So the plants that grow from the earth also have these elements taken from the soil, from the earth. Okay. Also, human being contains all these elements because in the Quran it mentioned the men, human beings are made of soil. So when you die, you go back to the soil, you go back to the earth. Okay. So it is about elements. Now, let's see about human body. So in the picture there, you can see the body of a man, of a male, and of a female. So very different characteristic. Except nowadays you can find some women look like men, some men would like to see like a woman. Some women having men name like Mazlan. So I got a friend by the name Mazlan. We thought it's a man, but it's a woman. Okay. There are some women, some men with the name of woman's name, like Fadila. So I thought Fadila is a woman, but it's a man. So that is the man, okay, the human being. Now, on the right picture, it's about human body. It's the organ. Everybody knows you have a brain, you have your heart, you have your pancreas, you have your kidney, and blah, blah, blah. So these organs are very important for good health. So you must take care of this organ. So if you don't take care, then you will become sick. For example, like myself, at the age of 70s, I have kidney problem. So the kidney is not functioning. So I'm now on dialysis. So I go to artificial kidney to clean, to detoxify the blood. And then, okay, the blood is giving oxygen. So I can have clean blood. So that is kidney. Therefore, you need to take water every day, at least 1.5 liters of water every day based on your weight. If your weight is 60 kilo, you multiply by 3, it becomes 1.8. So you need to take water every day, about 2 liters of water. Okay? That is how you maintain your kidney. Your kidney is very small, the size of a kacang, but inside the kidney is a nano size of membrane, which will filter all the toxic material in the blood. So that is an example of important organ, the kidney. Okay? Similarly, the heart. So you have to keep the heart pumping in, pumping out at periodic, what we call it, pumping in, pumping out. So if the pumping in, pumping out is not uniform, meaning something wrong with the muscle inside the heart. So you have to see your cardiac doctors. So please remember, you have to take care of this organ. Some people got no money, they sell the organ, they sell the kidney. If you read your papers, people from Turkey, in England, they sold their organ, their kidney, also from China. So to get some money, all right? So that is the organ in the body. So you have to take care of it. So when I was young, like you all, we never think about this organ because you are healthy, you are young. But when you reach 30, many of us, many of you, will find some problem. So as you can see here in my dialysis center, quite numbers of people at the age of 40, 35, they come for dialysis, all right? they come for dialysis. So it's very, I started my dialysis at the age of 70. So when I was young, I joined the military cadet. When I was a docent, I joined the military student in the campus. In Indonesia, they call it Menwa. In Malaysia, they call it Rotu. So in the military service, we do medical checkup every year. So we are used to the culture of monitoring our health, okay? All right, so that is about the human body. So next slide. So as a chemist, we want to see what are the elements in our body. You will find that most of the elements are the carbon. You see how much water in our body. So the highest amount is the fluid, is the water, 62%. And important elements are carbon, hydrogen, phosphorus, calcium. These are important elements in our body. Similarly, in the plants to grow, the plant needs nitrogen. They need phosphorus. They need kalium. So that's why many of these farmers, they buy fertilizer, and they know, and they call it NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, kalium. These are the major elements in the plant. They study the element from the tissue of the plant. They discovered these are the major elements in the plant. Also, in the plant, you have other elements like boron, magnesium, molybdenum. So they call it trace elements. The quantity is much less compared to the major component. Similarly, in the human body, you will find other elements as well. So you have so-called essential elements, which is needed by the body. So the essential elements are, you can see there, sodium, some sulfur, some magnesium, okay? So these are essential elements. Other elements are non-essential. Non-essential. So in the body, you have essential elements, major elements, essential elements, and the non-essential. The non-essential means we do not want that element because the elements are toxic. So in addition to that, you have fat, you have sugars, okay. Those are the elements and the composition. This composition was studied by many groups and presented in different pictures. So I like to see this picture. Let's see the next slide. Next slide. Also about the elements. So where are these elements in our body? So you can see there, the red color, the gray color, and the blue color. You will find the oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. They are all in the upper part. And then most of the remaining 4% is the 7 elements. And the other remaining about 0.1% are the trace elements. So very similar to the plant, all right? Except the plant has got no heart, no kidney. So we have kidney, heart, pancreas, etc. So you will find your carbon there, mostly at your pelvic. The oxygen mostly at the top, including your brain. So your blood contains less oxygen to your brain, you will have headache. Okay. So for me, I have my oxygen meter. So you should also have your oxygen meter. When you got fever, you got sickness, you just put in your finger, then you know your oxygen level is more than 95%. Then you're okay. So on the right side, there are essential elements, there are trace elements, they're all there. So 25 elements altogether, essential elements in our life system. So we are chemists. So chemists can easily understand and can easily follow the requirement of the body. So if you go for a medical test, checkup, you have to examine and determine how much of this element in your blood, in your body. Okay, next slide. Next slide, you will see these are the classification of those elements. Okay, these are the classification. Another way to present the element in our body. So nowadays with the IT technology, will help in the process of teaching so that the student can see, can understand better in the teaching process. Okay, next slide. As a chemist, okay, this is another data from different institutions, from different research groups. They are almost the same percentage. So if you look from the internet, from your literature, the amount of elements in the body can be in terms of percentage, can be part per million, can be more. So all these informations are easily available. Okay, next slide. As a chemist, we always have periodic table with us. So if you look at the periodic table, you will see where are those elements in the periodic tables which are essential to human body. You will see hydrogen, sodium, magnesium, potassium, and calcium. They are on the left, which are alkaline in nature. There are some representative elements like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, and minute selenium, also important element. And from the transition metals, you have manganese, iron, very important for your blood. Surprisingly, cobalt, copper, zinc, molybdenum. Okay, molybdenum also very important in the plant, very small amount. So there is a very close relationship between earth, plants, animals, and human life. Okay, so this is element in the periodic table that can be connected to human body. Okay, next slide. So next slide. In addition to this element, before the previous slide, please. Okay, we also have vitamins, very important for our body. Okay, so the vitamin is also senyawa. It's also compound containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay, but it is a source of elements, vitamins, and minerals. Okay, next slide. And the food you eat come from the plants. So they contain all those elements. So food, the fruits are very important. Make sure you take good food every day. And you should take fruits the first thing in the morning. So after half an hour, you start having your breakfast. Take fruits every day. Papaya, jambuai, whatever, many fruits available. Okay, next slide. So next slide. So how do we get the essential elements and minerals that we need in our body? Yeah, you take bread every day, you take rice every day. All these the source of essential elements. So the mineral, you can study all these element, mineral, including food as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so all these elements, the food, they are considered as fuel of the human body. So you can see here the organ, the function of each organ, the kidney, the pancreas, the muscles, all these are considered as the fuel or source of energy in our body. Okay, next slide. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, we have to know a little bit of biology. When you talk about drugs, we talk about anti-cancer, we have to know about biology, okay? So biology, we refer to animal, we refer to insect, bacteria, fungi, virus. And biology is about living. So when you talk about living, you must know about cells. The cell become very important in a biological system. The cell of a body, the cell of an insect, cell is a building blocks in bacteria, fungi, virus, etc. So if you do some reading, from structural point of view, there are two types of cells called prokaryotic, normally bacteria and archaea. And another type is called eukaryotic, which is animal, plant, and fungi. This cell looks structurally different, but the composition and the activities are very similar. Everyone knows what is the function of the cell. The cell will grow, the cell will divide, that makes your tissue, that makes your body, okay? There are many types of cells. So different application, different aspect, different type of cells. So if you look from the literature, from the book, they give many kind of type of cell, okay? You will find epithelial cell. Epithelial cell is very tightly attached to one another. You find the cell in the nerve. The nerve is specialized for communication. And also your cell in the muscle. Your muscle is for contraction, your gluteus, your siku. So those cells are muscle cells. And then you have a connective tissue, okay? So this refers back to the human body. So human body, you have so many organs, you have muscles, and the cells are different, but the composition and the activity is almost similar, okay? So that is about the cell, the detail you will see, and the rest are from the books, okay? Okay, next slide. So when we talk about human being, important type of cells. So this aspect, we call it histology. So histology is an important type of cell in human organ. okay, human organism. So you might have heard stem cell. Of course, you know red blood cells, white blood cell, platelet. If your platelet is very low, you are having big problem. So you have a nerve cell, neurological cells, muscle cell, cartilage cell. Okay. So these are very important histology. And now, since we are discussing today about cancer cell, you should know what is cancer cell. Okay. So next slide. So next slide about cancer cell. So cancer cell is a cell that divides continually. This is very important. So you have so many cells, but there are cells which divide continually, non-stop. Because normal cell, once you develop the tissue, it will stop divide. But cancer cell, no, it will continually divide, forming solid tumors. These solid tumors, we didn't want it. Very dangerous. That's why you can have a lump, you can have vessel, you can have flooding of blood with abnormal cell. So remember, cancer cell is a cell that continually divide and grow to form tumors, causing flooding of blood. Okay, that is cancer cell. On the right, you can see the picture of a cancer cell that develop or made the tumor. Okay, so now the cancer cell, the cell division, link, yeah, to the growth and the repair. So healthy cell stop dividing, okay, but cancer cell will continue dividing, but cancer cell continue dividing, okay, and another term they call it to produce copy, very similar cell continue growing. So you can imagine, if this cancer cell grow in your organs, in your heart, in your kidney, in your pancreas, in your lung, okay? So it depends on the organ. It's a question of how fast this cell grow. So everybody has this cell, cancer cell. It's a question of when or whether this cancer cell develop in your body. We do not want cancer cell develop, but records have shown many cases of cancer in the present time, okay? So now, this cancer cell that develop in the organ and we call it metastasis, okay? Metastasis. So it started from a small dot, and that dot will grow, okay? They will grow and become bigger. And that will cause problem to your organ, okay? So remember this word, metastasis, okay? So there are pictures there about the cell structure, just to remind how single cell look like, what are the important components. in the cell. Okay, now we know what cancer cell is, how it behaves, and the important thing to remember, it forms solid tumors. That's no good in our body. Okay, that is cancer cell. Now, our topic today, how the coordination compound can be used as the anti-cancer drugs. Okay, so we go to the next slide. Next slide, please. So next slide, we will show you previous. Okay, so let's to know more about cancer. Okay, so there are testicular cancer. Testicular cancer is cancer. Yeah, cancer, frightening, isn't it? It's a cancer in the male reproductive organ. Okay, for women, ladies, very common, breast cancer. Also very common to the woman is ovarian cancer and cervical cancer. Okay, that's how the tissue, once the cancer cell divide, continually grow, it become a tumor, it becomes tissue, and this is not good. So that's why I said you have to monitor your health status at least once every year. Okay, so next slide. So next slide. Okay, this is another cancer in the bladder, very common in men. Also cancer you can have in the head and neck, and also esophagus, that means in your mouth as you eat, the cancer can grow there. In your neck, okay? Some organ, the tissue is very soft, okay? Some parts very hard. Okay, those are the type of cancer that very common into this slide, okay? Next slide. Now, lung cancer. We call it lung carcinoma. So I think about, as you know, I travel a lot to Japan, Kazakhstan, and many countries. But 7 or 8 years ago, when I was in Tokyo, I had coughing. Not a very strong coughing, but a very regular coughing. So when I came back, I went to see doctors and to do medical checkup. So if you have coughing, regular coughing, you go to a unit called respiratory unit in the hospital. So they will do all kind of check, medical checkup. They will test your your breathing, your walk, whether you become very tired after 2 or 3 minutes walking, all those tests, okay? From there, they can evaluate and get your lungs tested. And then they will do X-ray. So in my case, when we did X-ray, we saw a small dot in the lung. It's about 1 millimeter, very small. And alhamdulillah, that small dot grows very slowly. So it took years. And we know cancer cell normally will continue divide and grow. So Alhamdulillah, in my case, in the lung, the metastasis. Okay. Now you should be familiar with the term, the metastasis. They grow very slowly and took years. This is a lung cancer. So many people who smoke suffering from lung cancer. But today, many people who do not smoke also have lung cancer. Why is that happening? Because I think our environment is getting polluted. All right. So in the middle, there's a brain cancer. So you see, one of my friends just had a brain operation. They imagine they cut your brain bone and remove the cancer. And the last one there is called neuroblastoma, which is about the nerve. Okay. So you know now that I have a lung carcinoma. So the word lung carcinoma is less frightening compared to lung cancer. So everybody, when heard about cancer, will become scared or frightening. So I have a lung cancer, almost more than 9 years now. Okay. So next slide. Okay. From the beginning, I asked you, what is your health status? So you have to do medical checkup. Normally, doctors will take your blood. Okay. So from the blood, first thing, they will see your lipid profile, your cholesterol level. So you have a low density cholesterol, which you don't need, not very good. You have high density cholesterol, which our body needs. So when you go for analysis, they will give you the amount. So if your high density, in my case, is 2.39. So normally it should be more than 1%. So mine is 2.39, so the high density is okay. But for low density, it must be less than 2.58, and mine is 3. So 2.58 and 3 at my age is still okay, okay? So the overall total high density, mine is 2.4, and the border is less than 4.6. So our overall, the lipid profile, I'm okay. Okay. Your lipid profile is high, then doctor will prescribe you the drugs, cholesterol drug. Okay. Okay. Next slide. That is your lipid profile, and then the liver function. Okay. The liver function, normally you look for your creatinine. Okay. So, no, sorry, not creatinine. So the albumin, the I have difficulty to read, the albumin in particular. But in my case, all those quantity, you see on the right, you have a circle within the range. So the first part is low, the rest almost all, they are in the range. So alhamdulillah, my liver function profile is okay. So maybe you have heard 3 friends, tiga sekawan. Triglyceride means your blood, your sugar, your cholesterol, and all triglyceride means your kidney, your heart, your pancreas, they are okay. If one is not okay, they will affect the other. So your sugar, your cholesterol, your heart, your blood pressure. So these three triggers, kawan, you must take care. Okay, that is liver. Going back to the organ that we learned from the early part, and so on. The next one is your renal function. Your renal function is a kidney. Okay, so renal function will check the glycerin, they will check your creatinine. Okay, next slide. Next slide. So your creatinine must maintain below 115. If your creatinine is high, then it's an indicator for your malfunction of your kidney. Okay. So in my case, because of the cancer, they have removed my kidney, so I only got one kidney. And the chemo drug affected the other kidney, so my creatinine is very high. So creatinine is produced by the muscle. So when you do exercise every day, they will produce creatinine. If you do a lot of work, physical work, your body will produce a lot of creatinine. But if your kidney is working very well, the creatinine will be removed. You will be detoxized by the kidney, and your blood becomes clean. So in my case, the creatinine was very high, it's 400, and I have no choice but to go for dialysis. Okay, that means my kidney is not functioning very well. So all my friends here in the dialysis centers, their creatinine are high, many of them. So many of us here, more than 10 in every batch. Okay, look for creatinine when you receive your medical results and take care. Your creatinine could be low. For men, I think about 115. For women, must be less than 100. So if that is the value, you are okay, right? The next slide will show you the elements in your blood. The next slide. So, okay. Previous slide, please. Previous slide. So, I'm not sure whether I've given you the elements in the blood. So, when we talk about the element in the blood, the calcium, the potassium, the iron. So, you have to look for this element. Calcium, in my case, the calcium is very, very low because of the cancer. Okay, so I have to take calcium pill, calcium tablet every day, and you need potassium. Okay, but too much potassium also not very good because it will affect your heart. So you need to have a balanced element: potassium, calcium, sodium. So you have to look from the chart. Okay. So now from the analysis, you can have your own health status. So what happens when you have a cancer? So you need a drug. Okay. So this topic about drug cancer. So when you have a cancer, then the drugs, we call it chemo drugs, and the medical treatment, we call it chemotherapy. So chemotherapy Briefly, we call it chemo. Sometimes we call it CTX. Okay, it's a type of cancer treatment. So you have a chemotherapeutic agent, or sometimes we call it alkylating agent. These are part of the standardized chemotherapy. Okay, so the subject of chemotherapy is about the treatment, is about the drug given to cancer patient with a curative intent. Okay, sometimes the drug involve combination, only one drug, with the aim to prolong life, to reduce symptoms. So chemotherapy is one of the major categories in medical discipline, especially devoted to pharmacotherapy for cancer. So it is called medical, in the medical field, it's called oncology. So the experts, the doctor pakar, we call them oncologists. So those who have cancer, your chemotherapy is your good friend. Your oncologist is your good friend of the doctors. Okay, so chemotherapy. Next slide. So next slide is what happens when you have a cancer. So it's very common to monitor your blood. So on the top picture is a needle inserted into my nerve, my blood vessel, so that they can take the blood regularly and conduct tests. So otherwise, they have to put your needle every morning. I call the doctor Dracula because they take blood every morning. So on my right is my oncologist, Professor Fuad. He's the head of oncology department. I'm very fortunate because he's one of the top oncologists in Malaysia at UKM. He took my chemistry lecture in the first year, so you know my name very well. So we became good friends. So very important to have a good relationship if you're oncology. So every month I go and see him for advice, for treatment. Okay. Now, for the lung cancer, there are many ways to detect, to monitor. You can do X-ray, you can do CT scan, and this is called PET scan. So PET scan is put the radioactive nuclei into your blood. Okay, you can see the needle there. And after half an hour, the radioactive material will get into your body system. And then you go to the scan. So the nuclei is a particle that produce radiation. So radiation from your organs will be image. You get the image. Then you can see the image of the organ entire body. So from here, we can monitor the development of your metastasis, the dot in the lung. So very recently, we found out that my metastasis is becoming larger. So it took more than 8-9 years. Alhamdulillah, it's very slow, but metastasis in the liver normally very, very fast, okay? So as a result of this, I have to go for radiotherapy. So I have a combination of chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So we need these facilities in order to monitor the cancer cell. Remember, as I told you, cancer cell divide continually. It's a question of slow or fast. it is very fast in the liver, normally your life survival is very short. Okay. Now, next slide. So this is myself being a dialysis. You can see there, there's a blood tubing from my arm going to the artificial machine, going back to the machine. So this is dialysis when your renal function are not working very well. Okay. Next slide, which I am now. So because of my renal problem, I decided not to take vaccine. I will explain you later on. So in order to keep myself safe, I don't travel very much, except from my house to the dialysis center and to the hospital. Still, eventually, I got COVID. Okay, I was admitted. You know, I'm very particular of maintaining my health. Any peculiarity, because the oncologist doctor is my friend, I just WhatsApp him. Then he said, okay, come to the emergency unit. Then they admitted me to the ward for monitoring. So the first time I got COVID on the 23rd of October, yeah. So I was admitted for almost 1 week. But alhamdulillah, remember this coronavirus, the effect is on the lung. And mind you, I have a lung cancer. So everybody was threatening, but alhamdulillah, my lung is okay. And I look all right. I think at the present stage, the effect of this COVID is not like the first time, very frightening. So alhamdulillah, it's just like a normal fever. I'm now recovered from the COVID. So remember, I'm not vaccinated. So doctors say there are some better. Those who are not vaccinated does not mean it will be very serious. There are people who are vaccinated with a booster, they face more serious problem. Okay, so I got COVID anyway. Next slide, please. Okay, now come to the drug, the inorganic compound, the coordination compound. We talk about chemotherapy. So there are many chemotherapy which are organic in nature. Too many drugs. Organic in nature, heterocyclic compound, and very few from metallic. So, of course, there are many studies, many reports, many metals have been studied as anti-cancer agent. But cisplatin is a famous one. So you should ask yourself, how people discovered cisplatin as the anti-cancer agent? So if you read the literature, it was discovered by Bernard Rosenberg in 1965 from Michigan State University. Actually, he was not studying anti-cancer. He's trying to study how the bacteria behave when the bacteria is exposed to electric field, to magnetic field. So they make a bacteria solution and they apply electrochemistry. So again, the chemist was working with him. They apply electrolysis and see what happened to the bacteria. Okay, that was the intention of the study. So what he found, next slide, what he found was the bacteria became very large in a very short time, it become larger, but the bacteria is not dividing. The number of bacteria is not increasing. So, in other words, the bacteria is inhibited. So that was not the intention of the research. But the discovery is very important. That means when they do electrochemistry, normally they use electrodes. And the best electrode, which is stable, are platinum. So in this case, the solution became yellow, meaning the platinum dissolved in the solution, become platinum solution, become platinum complex. So it is the platinum complex in the solution that inhibits the bacteria division. Okay, that is very interesting point. Inhibition by platinum. So although the objective of the research is not achieved, but the result is a very, very interesting result. So from this observation, cisplatin became the attention, the focus of the study, because they found that the cisplatin in the solution, with the help of the chemist, it is the dichlorodiamine compound. And they found that the inhibition, the compound was studied, applied to cell, sarcoma cell, in rats, in animals. There are also tumor inhibition, and also they start studying the cisplatin at clinical stage, and they discovered it is very good for testicular cancer. Remember, the human production part is testicular, where it improved the cure rate from 10% to 85%. That's a very, very promising of cisplatin as a testicular cancer treatment chemotherapy. And in 1978, cisplatin was approved as a testicular and ovarian cancer in the US, 1978, and 1 year later it was approved in Britain and Europe as a anti-cancer drug. So, discovered by 1965 and then accepted as a drug in 1978. It took more than 10 years. You discover your compound today, you don't announce because it's a long process before it becomes drug. So we need to focus on the cisplatin, not other metals. But although there are many, many studies you can read later on, but we focus on the cisplatin because these are the drugs for cancer treatment, or in other words, chemotherapy. Right? So when they discovered cisplatin, which is cis dichlorodiamine, has this property, they need the help from the chemist, people like you all. Okay, next slide. So if you look from the chemistry, okay, you often hear the word serendipity. It means the unexpected result from the research, it becomes drug that is called serendipity. And the development of drug today, we call it rational design. You don't make so many compounds and test, but using the result to make rational design to predict this particular compound will have good anti-cancer property. So today, you don't make 1,000 compound and test. That will spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. From the 20 compound, you can make a rational design using statistical model and predict what are the compounds can have high potential as chemotherapy agent. Okay, so this is why they call it from serendipity to rational design. Okay, next slide.
Serendipity.
Serendipity means an unexpected discovery. Okay, so next slide. Okay, now we talk about cisplatin. The chemists like it. So this is a cisplatin diamine
Serendipity.
platinum. It is it a negative charge or positive charge? Okay, platinum. Remember, always platinum 2. All right, platinum 2. So chlorine 2 there, 2 minus, and then platinum 2 plus. You from there the complex is neutral. Okay, so chemists know about the stereochemistry, cis, and also you can have a trans chloro. Trans will have no effect as anti-cancer agent. It becomes toxic and dangerous to the cell. So the bottom is a typical model of the molecular model. That model also useful because it will tell you the size, the bulky nature of the complex. So this is a cisplatin. Now, chemists are very good at making things synthesize. So the Rothenberg discovered from the electrochemical, from the electrolysis. So we check, did the chemists discover this compound? Next slide. So if you look from chemistry study, next slide. So, okay, this is how you make the cisplatin. You started with the tetrachloroplatinate, potassium tetrachloroplatinate. If you ever work in Italy, they call it kappa 2 PdCl4, meaning kappa 2 means K2. The Italian called 2 is kappa, PdCl4. So you have Cl4, it is a cation. So in excess potassium iodide, the iodine will replace all the ligand, will give to the tetraiodide. In ammonium solution, ammonia will replace the iodine. 2 ammonia, you have diiodo ammonia, and then the iodine can be removed by silver nitrate. So you will have diaqua, diamine, and silver nitrate. And if you add KCl, you will end up with diamine, dichloro, diamine, which is cisplatin. Okay? The chemists has already done this reaction. They have prepared, synthesized cisplatin. Who did this? Okay? See next slide. Sorry, no mention. No. Next slide. Previous slide. Okay, previous slide, please. So, previous slide. Previous slide. Before.
Before?
Yeah, the synthesis.
Okay.
So actually when we look at the chemistry, the chemists who synthesize okay, go back to the synthesis slide. Okay, you having problem now? Is it okay, you see? Hello? Is it okay, you see? Is it okay? Something wrong?
Prof, maaf.
Ya, oke.
Ibu Yusi sedang ada problem sepertinya, jadi let me know.
Okay, there's some problem with the line.
Excuse me, Professor, there is something wrong with we use his laptop, so it's kind of turned off on itself. So
Yeah.
maybe can wait for a minute and we can share again your PowerPoint. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Ya, salam.
Ya, gimana? Cemana kabar? Kok tak ada suara?
Wah, dengar suaranya.
Sekarang ada.
Kami ikutin juga ya.
Ikutlah. Masa ayah andanya ada acara tak ikut?
Ya, surprise.
Ya. Sehat, sehat ayah anda.
Sedang dialysis ini.
Oh gitu. Waduh. Dialysis ya Allah. Pak Prof. Bohari Yamin sedang cuci darah beliau, tapi masih semangat memberikan ilmu. Terima kasih, tahniah Prof. Sehat selalu.
Ya, ini talking about cancer ya.
Terima kasih ilmunya.
Ya. Jadi kuliahnya based on pengalaman, experience.
Ini yang selalu mengikut ayah anda pergi, ayah anda bekerja.
Azwani sudah bisa jalan sekarang, tapi perlahan-lahan lah.
Oh ya, Prof. Azwani.
Ya, dia kan spinal cord operation.
Oh ya.
So, 4 tulang di spinal cord itu jadi betulkan.
Oh.
Badan itu kan besar, berat.
Ya.
Tapi oke lah, sudah boleh jalan perlahan-lahan. But driving still not. not advisable.
Iya, yang anak Wiwi nomor 2 kan juga besar itu Ayahanda, kan bisa berbahaya juga.
Kamu coba tulis introduction dulu untuk paper itu ya.
Baik, baik Ayahanda. Bila Wiwi nak terbang ke Kuala Lumpur?
Pak Novi datang besok.
Sama siapa?
Ya, Pak Novi is coming tomorrow.
Dengan siapa, Prof?
Mula-mula dengan Pak Rahmat, tapi informasinya dia seorang saja.
Oh begitu.
Tomorrow flight-nya sekitar jam 4.
Oh flight jam 4. Dah ada, tapi seminggu paling 2 kali, 3 kali dari Padang sekarang.
Oh, sudah ada darat ya?
Masih belum sering.
Okay.
Ya, bila-bila lah Wiwi nanti sana. Ini alma mater Wiwi, Pak. Unpad itu alma mater Wiwi. Pertanian, Unpad. Maaf.
Okay.
Profesor, maaf, ada problem with the signal. Ini Bu Wiwik ya.
Enggak. Punten ngiri.
Mangga.
Pertanian Unpad, di Unpad.
Iya Bu, saya sudah baca bukunya Ibu.
Oh maaf.
Ya, nanti kita kenalan ya Bu.
Baik, terima kasih ya Nuhun.
Ya. Ya Prof, dilanjut lagi ya Prof. Aduh mohon maaf sekali.
Okay. You go to the slide yang ada sintesis itu, cisplatin sintesis.
Bentar, slide yang
Go to the previous one, the synthesis of cisplatin.
sintesis, okay. This one?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I continue, yeah, okay?
Yeah. Please.
So, when you look at this synthesis, actually, it was synthesized by an Italian chemist long time ago, before the Sprinditini discovery of Rothenberg. So this is another example. We chemists, okay, compared to the pharmacists. Pharmacists, they discover the drug, the chemical, the senyawa for anti-cancer, for sickness, etc., etc. And they make a lot of money. You know, pharmaceutical company are the very, very rich company making drugs. Just like the vaccine, they make a lot of money from the vaccine. The chemists are so happy working in the laboratory, many problems. They solve the problem to make new compounds. So, for example, like paracetamol, Panadol, these were discovered by the chemists, of course, but it was the pharmaceutical people who discovered Panadol or paracetamol as a painkiller. By the time they discovered paracetamol as a painkiller, the chemist who first synthesized this compound has died. Dia mati. Jadi yang kaya raya is the pharmacist. Nowadays everybody knows. You demam sikit ambil Panadol all over the world. Okay. Similarly, in this case, this cisplatin was discovered by an Italian chemist, and they make this compound for the pharmaceutical company because it is not easy to do the lab work. You have to be well-trained chemist. Okay, next slide. Okay, before that. So when the cisplatin is discovered have these properties, I also mentioned about rational design. So the chemists start thinking of ligand, new ligands. So the chemist studies using new ligand, so new complexes. You can see the carboplatin and having another cyclic ligand, oxalato group, oxaliplatin. And you have pyridine attached to the platinum. You call it pyriplatin. And the last one, having the phenanthroline group bonded to the platinum, they called phenanthroplatin. And they studied this as anti-cancer drug. This is the second generation of cisplatin. They are in the market. They are not being used as a chemotherapeutic drug. Okay, so this is the role of coordination compound. Of course, as I told you, there are many studies using different metals, copper, gold, many metals. But this platinum really very promising. This drug is very common for those who suffer cancer. Okay, so you see, the chemist has can always contribute a lot to the pharmaceutical and other fields. So we must be very proud of taking chemistry. The next slide. So now the next one is cisplatin as a in chemotherapy. So when you using this drug, one of the important thing is the side effect. So when you have cancer, you go to the doctors, they give you drug, it's a chemotherapy treatment. One of the important things that you have to be very careful and get involved is the management of the drug, the side effect. These are metals, okay? Metal have toxicity. It also affects your normal cell. So for those who are doing research in synthesis and work together with the biochemists, see whether it has biological activity against the bacteria, against the fungi, against the cell, your compound may be highly toxic to the cancer cell. But at the same time, it's also toxic to the normal cell. No, we don't want this to happen. Because you do not want to damage the normal cell, only the cancer cell, okay? So cisplatin also have no exception. It has a side effect. And what are the side effects? Okay, there are many side effects. You can have vomiting, muntah-muntah. So this is very common for those who take not only cisplatin, but other drugs. I'm taking organic drug. The side effect is vomiting, muntah. So at least three times in a week, saya suffer from muntah, okay? And it has many side effects, and you have to monitor the side effect. Vomiting effect, blood cell reducing, and your skin. Of course, effect on the hair, you can see there, that ladies lost her hair in the head and also hair in the skin. Okay, so this is called drug management. You have to monitor yourself, and any change in your body system, you have to report to the doctor. It affects your immunity system. Your body becomes easily infected by germs. Okay, your infection, have to be very careful. Okay, that is the side effect. We have to study the side effect. You have to know. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is how cisplatin treatment is given. So cisplatin is given to you in the form of a solution injected into your blood vessel. Okay, they call it intravenous infusion. Intravenous. Okay, the infusion can take up for 8 hours. So they have to give into your body not 300 ml at one time. You just now I showed you, they put you some needle into your blood vessel. Then they will introduce the cisplatin solution through the needles very, very slowly. It may take up to 8 hours. You have to sit down in the hospital for 8 hours. The reason being, this solution is very reactive. Your body become hot, and then you will experience warm heating, muntah-muntah. So they have to give you obat muntah. They have to give you warm heating drugs to stop from the warm heating. That is one. So your body become very hot. So they have to put in maybe 0.1 ml, 0.1 ml, and finally 400 ml. It will take 8 hours. Okay. So they have to inject into your body. So then injection into your body is by normal injection using the syringes. They can also fix a type of tubing through your lung. Okay, next slide. So, okay, sorry, through your lung tubing, yeah? So the tubing, they introduce the solution through the tubing on your lung. So they call it, there are special terms. They call it this technique of introducing the cisplatin solution into your body. Now, it's important for you to know who should not use cisplatin. So mind you, cisplatin is a metal. Definitely when you look at your periodic table, platinum is not an essential element in the body. It's a foreign to the body. Just to tell you, organotin compound was discovered has high toxicity against cancer cell. So it has reached clinical stage in Belgium. Okay, so they apply tin compound for anti-cancer. What happened was 5 patients was given a tin compound. They all died. As a result of that research, they totally stopped the use of metal compound as anti-drug for more than 10 years. They completely stopped because all the patients died. No tin compound, although tin compound has been used in agriculture to combat fungi, all right? But cisplatin has been approved. They continue with the cisplatin, okay? So now, who should not use this cisplatin? So when you have cancers, obviously we'll discuss with the oncologist. In my case, I told the doctor, no. I'm not going to take cisplatin, all right? Because I have kidney problem. So having kidney, I'm taking a chemotherapy, which is organic in nature, called punitinib. Okay, punitinib. That's organic heterocyclic. And I'm taking it 800 milligram every day, 800 milligram. So that will be high load to the kidney. Remember, kidney is an organ to filter your blood. So it's already too much, 800 milligram. I cannot afford to take cisplatin, okay? So those who have kidney problem should not take cisplatin. Those who have allergy should not take cisplatin. So even though the organic drugs, if you have allergy, they have to conduct allergy test. This drug is allergic to you or not. So when they introduce this drug, either organic or cisplatin, you become allergic, meaning you have a very peculiar sickness. So they will stop giving you the drug. So kidney people, allergy, shouldn't take this drug, okay? So that is why I decided I'm not going to accept vaccination because I have kidney problem. So this remind me when I was in Bali, I can't remember the names of the docent. She has a colon cancer. So she was supposed to undergo operation, but she decided not to go for operation. She decided to take a traditional drug using plant material, using natural products. I said, no. You have to remove the cancerous colon. But, you know, sometimes you have your own principle in life. You don't want any part of your organ being removed. So unfortunately, she survived only about 1 month, and then he passed away. So when it comes to cancerous, you have to discuss and trust your oncologist, okay? Next slide. I will go very fast now. Okay, next slide. So this, I gave the side effect, which is vomiting and hair problem. You lose your hair. You lose also your hearing problem. You start having hearing problem. I am having hearing problem. So my wife have to shout to me when she talk to me. And there are many side problems, including blood, platelets, red blood cell. So that is why every time I come for dialysis, they have to put in hormone to accelerate my platelets in the blood. And also, you are susceptible to the infection. You have to be very careful. Jangan ada luka, so you will get infected. So not only cisplatin side effect, other drug side effect. You have to take care of yourself, protect yourself from infection. Next slide. So other side effect, fever, you see your blood pressure and your uric acid, etc., etc., etc. So these are possible side effects. You have to monitor. As I mentioned, drug management is very important for those who have cancer. Okay, next slide. Okay, vaccine may be less effective in people receiving chemotherapy. This is why I decided not to be vaccinated. You know, one of my daughter is medical doctor. She told me I am a kepala batu professor, stubborn professor, because I refuse to take vaccine. So I said, no, I'm not to take vaccine. But alhamdulillah, although I got COVID lately, alhamdulillah, I'm not that really serious, okay? My lung still okay, still survive. Okay, next slide. I'm going very fast now. Okay. So this is again I mentioned there are three ways getting the cisplatin or any drug into your bloodstream. They call it central line, PICC line, or podcast. Podcast means they put you a tube at your chest. So when you want to use the tube, you open it, you put the solution, okay? Very often, those who have cancer, as I mentioned just now, infect the blood cell. So every time they want to put cisplatin, they have to take the blood and do the blood count. If the blood count is low, sorry, they won't do any treatment for the day. They will add some hormone to increase your hemoglobin, to improve your blood platelet. Then only they will do cisplatin. Okay, so this is a way to get your cisplatin into your bloodstream. Next slide. Now, the question is now, how often do you have cisplatin? So normally, in my case, my drug is not solution, but tablets. I'm taking the tablet, 800 milligram every day. But cisplatin, no, you have to be given in a cycle, maybe 5 cycles, 10 cycles, and they will monitor at your cancer cell tissue. So some people have to go 10 cycles, 5 cycles, okay? So they use the term cycle for treatment. And normally every 3 days, 4 days, or once a week, because it's very, very reactive drug. They cannot give you every day. So your body become hot, your hair will dismantle very fast. So it depends on your situation. The oncologist will decide, maybe every 5 days, okay? So you might have cisplatin on its own or combination with other drugs or combined with radiotherapy. In my case now, I'm on chemotherapy as well as radiotherapy, okay? Next slide. Now the question next for interest, how does cisplatin work to inhibit the cell? So there are many explanations in the book. I just want to mention here by showing this picture. So the cisplatin DNA is a polymer with different segments. And between the DNA segment, guanosine, many amino acids, there is a distance. And your cisplatin, there is a distance between the chlorine atom, between the ammonia ligand, and that distance between chlorine and the DNA segment does match very well. So you can see that the red one is a cisplatin. They combine with the DNA. They combine with DNA. And the blue one is a protein, remember? The protein is part of the body, part of the cell. So the cisplatin will bond to the DNA, and after the bonding, after the formation, it will undergo dispositionation to break the DNA of the cancer cell. As I told you, the cisplatin will combine with normal cell and also with the cancer cell. Fortunately, very much significant to the cancer cell and very small amount to the normal cells. So that is one reason why cisplatin has been accepted to drug. So really the mechanism in simple sense is a combination of binding of cisplatin with the DNA, and the DNA is broken. So when DNA of the cancer cell is broken, so you inhibit, you stop the division or the multiplicity of the cancer cell. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is another schematic diagram showing what happened. The cisplatin undergo many stages. The pharmacy people are very good at this. I don't understand. I don't study in detail because we are chemists. But although we are chemists, it's good for us at least to know what are the stages when it comes to the mechanism, the pathway of the cisplatin against the cancer cell DNA. Okay, next slide. We are going to the end now. Next slide. Okay, that is about cisplatin. There are many metal also which is very promising. One is zinc. Okay, I just mentioned here is zinc. You can read because zinc is also an important metal. Yeah. So if you're hot-tempered, mudah marah, doctor will prescribe you a zinc tablet. So zinc tablet will help you to reduce your anger. And there are reports, those people who live or whose house are made up of zinc roof, atap zinc ya, selalu orang-orangnya tidak pemarah. But those people who work with the copper, dia cepat marah. So this is another simple indicator how this metal can affect human behavior. So we have zinc. Next slide. So another metal which receive a lot of research focus is copper. Okay, copper is cheap. Still work continue on copper. Gold are expensive metal. Nano gold. So you can check whether nano gold has been applied as a drug, but definitely many studies. So what I want to show now is my experience on radiotherapy. So from the PET scan, the doctors know which part of my lung the cancer cell is getting bigger. So from the PET scan, the green area is the area that the cancer cell, the metastasis, remember? Please, but from today, you must know the word metastasis, okay? It is the cancer cell in the lung or other organs as well. So it's getting bigger. That means the chemotherapy is no longer very effective. So one way is to apply radiotherapy, okay? So the doctor has to measure properly which area. Because in radiotherapy, that's the machine, the part of the body will be irradiated. It's a radiation. It can be alpha particle, it can be beta proton, positive charge, or even X-ray, strong X-ray. So the X-ray is irradiated into the tissue, and mind you, X-ray, you know the radiation. We also undergo scattering effect. The X-ray not only going to the tissue, but some will be scattered. So it is very important to avoid the scattering fall into the bones because it will affect the bone. Fortunately, in my case, it is the lung, and don't forget, I have rib, which is bone. So I already undergone 10 cycles, and every time radiotherapy, they only apply 1 minute. So 1 minute, and then the next day they see any effect or not, effect on the skin. How did I feel? So far, alhamdulillah, I feel normal. And of course, after 10 cycles, I can feel something happening inside my lung. So hopefully the radiation will damage the cancer cell, okay? So, so far so good. But a friend of mine, he has the prostate, the prostate, prostate, the human men are very often to have prostate. The prostate tissue is just above the pelvic bone. So he was able to walk, but after the chemo, the radiotherapy, now he cannot walk because it affected the bones. So these are the things you have to really discuss with the oncologist before you agree with him. So that is the effect of radiotherapy. So these are the machines. For a chemist, you remember I worked with X-ray for more than 15 years. Nothing that threatened me. Okay, it's normal to me. But if you have done MIR, that is more frightening because MIR is like a symmetry, like a kubo, and they will keep you there 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Breathing, stop breathing, that's it. MIR, okay? Though this is radiotherapy, a kind of treatment for anti-cancer, for cancer cell. Okay, next slide. I think we have discussed a lot about cancer. Next slide. Okay, I think I will stop there. After the radiotherapy, alhamdulillah, I managed to entertain the visit of Dr. Atika from Unpad, Bandung. So we had lunch together, and I took her with the students to enjoy the durian Musang King. With that, I thank you very much.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much, Professor Bohari, for the explanation, for the nice presentation. And then we go to the time is up, but I will give 1 or 2 questions, maybe from participants, from students. Ada yang mau bertanya? Silakan dalam bahasa Indonesia juga boleh.
Ya, boleh bahasa
Boleh
Indonesia.
izin.
Ya, di April. Ya, please di April.
Ya, mungkin izin bertanya menggunakan bahasa Indonesia saja. Takutnya kalau
Iya.
bahasa Inggris saya jelek. Nah, untuk pertanyaannya, tadi kan disebutkan bahwa untuk treatment dengan cisplatin ini ada kemungkinan kita kombinasikan dengan jenis treatment lainnya gitu. Nah, apakah bisa semua treatment itu dikombinasikan dengan treatment cisplatin, atau mungkin kita harus memperhatikan dulu gitu treatment apa yang diberikan? Dan apakah mungkin akan ada pengaruh dari kombinasi treatment ini? Seperti itu. Terima kasih.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
As I told you, when you have cancer and cancer treatment, monitoring of drug become very important. The idea of chemotherapy may not be for curing. They don't cure you, but is to kill, to slow down the activity of the cancer cell. So remember, cancer cell is a cell that continually, berterusan ya, dia divide, dia grow. So you have to slow it down, okay? Or if possible to kill it. So there are friends who has a ovarian cancer, sudah survive 15 years, 20 tahun. Tapi they often go and see doctors to monitor. Now, when they find the cancer cell come out again, they have to kill the cancer cell, maybe chemotherapy. So if the doctor finds that the chemo drug is no longer efficient, then they might change another drug or combine with another drug. Similarly, if you have blood pressure problem means your heart is not pumping periodically, not pumping very well. So they give you drugs. There are two types of drugs. One called beta blocker, function in the heart, and another one is calcium blocker, to balance the calcium in your blood. So it may be working very well, but after some time, the drug is no longer functioning in a normal way. They have to combine the drug, beta blocker, calcium blocker. Okay, that is having the cardiac problem, blood pressure. Similarly with anti-cancer. So they may combine the drug. But before they decided to give you the drug, they have to really monitor your situation, monitor the side effect. So in my case, I agree and accept the combination of my chemo drug plus radiotherapy. So the chemo drug, if I stop taking the chemo drug, I will find that myself having coughing, batuk, very often. Then I know taking the drug will slow down the cancer cell and the coughing become less and less. So I don't cough very often when I take the drug. So I will not stop taking the drug, but the radiotherapy will certainly kill the cell. So in 1 month's time, I will do PET scan again and have a look at the entire body, especially in the lung, to see the metastasis. Is it completely killed or reduced? Okay. So now you can understand what should you do when you have a cancer. Of course, I was fortunate because my cancer is metastasis on the lung, but if it is in the heart, it is in the pancreas, it's in the liver, normally the growth is very, very fast, okay? So what is important, I told from the beginning, you must monitor your health. Go for examination every year because very difficult to detect cancer. Normally, when you already reach level 4, then you know the cancer. It becomes very, very obvious. It becomes very sickness. Level 1, level 2, you don't feel anything. So in my case, it was sprinditini juga by chance. When I do the CT scan to look at the lung cancer metastasis, suddenly the radiology discovered my kidney was huge, meaning the kidney was covered by the tissue. So we have to remove the kidney. So it was discovered by accident. So many situations, discovery of this cancer by accident. So the best thing for you is to monitor at least every year, okay? So I have to answer your question. Possible combination of drug, combination of chemotherapy, and also radiotherapy. The idea is to kill, if not all, some of the cancer cell, and then prolong your life, prolong your survival rate. Okay, that answer the question.
Yeah. Okay, Gimana?
Yes, thank you so much, Professor.
Okay. Thank you for the question, the April. Yeah, one more question maybe. Maybe from Malaysia, Ibu Nur.
Yeah.
Mau berkomentar?
Yes,
Tak ada apa, saya cuma mau dengar apa, get the
Oh, yeah.
idea how to deliver lecture in bioinorganic chemistry.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bu Nur. Yeah, Professor Bohari, I have one question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should uh, we should discipline ya in apa namanya untuk mengobati ini apa cancer ini we
Yeah.
have to very high discipline I think ya.
Very high.
Discipline for
Yes.
yeah for medicine. Oh sorry, my voice not clear ya. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
my hearing also becoming poor. I told you one of the side effect is your
Yeah.
hearing as a result of side effect.
Yeah.
I
I think
can hear
we
you.
should discipline to treat the cancer ya.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
more than one method, I think yeah. With one more than method,
Yeah.
drugs method.
Yeah, it's true. You see, discipline, self-discipline is very important.
Yeah.
You have to discuss with the oncologist. You don't simply accept. So we are knowledgeable people. Make sure you Google, get more information until you are confident. Then you agree with the oncologist. And this varies from people to people. Okay, that's number one. Once you understand these drugs, side effect, etc., then you agree to take the drug and see what happens within 1 or 2 weeks. If there is any change or not. If there is change, less side effect, then you continue. So that is the chemotherapy and the medical part of it. Secondly, you have to be very strong, yourself very strong. Don't get carried away. Do a lot of dua. Sometimes I cry, you know.
Yeah.
Cry to God. You have to make a lot of dua every day. And then make your activities as usual. For example, I give lectures, I don't completely stop. So in the morning, I do gardening, I grow grapes. So your activity, your daily activity is really full. So you don't think so much about the sickness until you take it lah.
Yeah.
And then any pain you feel, you go and see doctors until okay, you find yourself, this is my limit. Okay. So remember, everybody will die, but the time given by God, use it to make amal jariyah. Be nice to people. Okay. I become emotional when it comes to this. Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. Bohari. We have Ibu Nur Wahida on camera here.
Yeah, Wahida.
Would you give some comments for Professor Bohari? Oh, sorry, we cannot hear your voice.
Okay, Nurziana was my ex-PhD student.
Okay.
He did a lot of synthesis coordination compound, having sulfur group. Wahidah was doing a metathesis reaction to convert palm oil into many products. And I managed to get her work with my collaborator in Tokyo. So we travel every year to Tokyo Metropolitan University, and we have a joint PhD program. So now Wahidah is teaching in Sarawak, UITM. Noziana is teaching in University Islam Antarabangsa in Kuantan. So do feel free to visit them or to collaborate with either one of them.
Oh ya, oke.
Ya, Assalamualaikum Bu Yusi.
Ya,
Boleh dengar suara
waalaikumsalam.
saya?
Bisa.
Ya, saya rasa Pak Bohari banyak bicara berkaitan dengan Pak Ibu Yusi ya. Ini first time saya jumpa.
Ya, salam kenal ya Bu.
Ya, baik. Alhamdulillah. Glad to be here today. Ya. Ada rezeki insyaAllah saya mungkin boleh ke Indonesia bersama Pak Bohari ya.
Boleh.
Okey.
Boleh sekali Bu, ditunggu ya Bu.
Kalau
Kapan?
ada saya pergi dulu dia ikut ke Gajah Mada, ke Jepang.
Ya.
Iya. Ya nanti kita ini ya Bu, kita kenalan lagi lebih lanjut ya.
Insyaallah.
Iya. Oke. Terima kasih ya Bu Nur sudah gabung di sini. Ya baiklah. Oke. Professor, I think the time is up. Thank you very much for your experience that share to us, and very interesting. This is the new information, a lot of new information to us from your lecture, and we hope you will going well with your your suffer, and you will always going well, we hope, always to keep give lecture to us.
You too.
Okay. Student, thank you very much for the coming, and we finish our lecture today. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye Profesor. Bye-bye Bu Nur. Terima kasih.
2 hours.